First today on Bridges. We are going to talk about the joys and the challenges of being new parents. And my first guest is professional counselor Chris Troutt. Chris, so good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, when you talk about being new parents, I mean, even for me, it brings back all of these memories, great, happy memories, but like lots of sleepless nights
Absolutely.
and worries and concerns.
Yes.
So, help new parents out today. What are some of the challenges and how do we deal with those?
Absolutely. I think sleep deprivation is probably one of the biggest challenges because we just need our rest, and new babies do not include a lot of rest.
No, I can remember thinking I had no idea how much I would value sleep until I couldn't get it night after night, like with ear infections, upper respiratory problems, and I just felt exhausted and drained all the time, and that can wear you out.
It sure can, absolutely. But that's a great place to let people come in and help you. Primarily, we want the parents being the primary caregiver for the baby, but family or friends that want to help out, that's a great place for them to step in and say, I'll take care of baby for a couple of hours and let you get a little extra rest, or maybe cooking supper or doing some things around the house to help out to allow you that time to relax and rest.
Because that's really so much like what family and community are all about, is really helping when somebody is going through a season as new baby or whatever, and we need that additional help. And I know that, Chris, you're a professional counselor. Tell me a little bit about the center where you're at, but then you've got a lot of parenting experience.
Yeah, well, the Papillon Center really is a faith-based counseling center, and we see families and individuals for a variety of reasons. We specialize in trauma and attachment disorders, and then prenatal exposure to alcohol and drugs. Those are specialties that we have. But we see families for anything that's needed, really. We have a great team.
And as families, even in Christian Bible-believing families, there are always needs. And
absolutely.
We need professional help, objective opinions, people who have been there. We need all of that. Yeah. I think that our culture, it is so complex. And I think the things that families and individuals face today are far more complex than ever. But I know that you've got parenting experience, grandparenting experience.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your family, if you would.
Well, we have an amazing family. We have 12 children together. And
that's amazing right there.
6 are adopted and 6 are biological. And we are working on our 19th grandbaby, and so it's a lot of joy. Our family, we're just very grateful to have those experiences. But I do remember those exhausting times. And I think sometimes, especially in the culture that we live in, that it's easy to feel like a failure if we're not careful as a new parent, whenever it looks like society expects so much from us. Or maybe we expect too much from ourselves.
Well, and I think at least anyway on social media.
Yes.
Everybody's family looks perfect on there. The children are, their hair is perfectly combed. They're all straight A's in school. And people are they're picture perfect.
Right.
And, even if it's a newborn situation, it can be easy to feel like your child isn't gaining weight as quickly as other people. They're not eating. Their motor skills, their development is...
Absolutely.
And I think you're right. It is easy to feel like a failure or like you don't measure up. How do you suggest, as a professional counselor, how do we deal with those feelings?
Well, I mean, ideally get off social media. But outside of that, yes. Really, having a group around you that is not, it's great to have people that are doing life with you. But we also need people who have already been there, done that, that can really normalize those feelings of feeling like maybe I'm not accomplishing what I should have accomplished, or I'm not doing everything I should do, and to really help normalize those things for us. We need those people in our life that can help do that. If we're in a position where we are really struggling with depression, really struggling with mood swings, then we need to look at postpartum help for that.
Let's talk about postpartum just a little bit. I've heard the gamut,
Sure.
okay? You know, of people who say they just don't believe in postpartum depression, and so therefore you shouldn't get help because it doesn't exist. You can sort
Sure.
of just talk yourself out of it.
Sure.
So give us maybe some signs or symptoms that would indicate to a woman, or you know, even to a father, you know what, I think that my wife, I think that this is what's happening, and then what should I do about it?
Well, there again, I don't think that we have to overreact too quickly, because our bodies are trying to get back to normal.
Yeah.
And with that comes a whole lot of hormone changes and just feelings in our, you know, physical body that allowing yourself that time to recover. This idea that we need to get back to work in 2 or 3 weeks or even 6 weeks is pushing it. You know, allowing your body to heal, allowing you to kind of come back to what would be normal for that. But once, if someone is really struggling with, they're resting or they're sleeping but they're not resting, or they can't sleep, either side of that, feeling anxiety attacks, or just bouts of crying where that isn't something that they've done before. Just paying attention to those things, they might want to talk with their doctor or talk with a counselor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying basically to have more realistic or more reasonable
Yes.
expectations.
Yes.
And I think some of that is rooted in expectation, because I can remember thinking that I needed to be able to be back to work in 6 weeks. I was completely unprepared as a new mom for those hormonal fluctuations and having periods of really unexplained sadness. And now mine didn't go on forever, but I guess what I was thinking is that I was just going to be so happy because I had this new baby.
Right.
And
Right.
it seems weird then to find yourself crying and you really don't know why.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I didn't know to expect that, but I remember that I found it comforting that a woman that was older than me said, "Oh, Monica, you know, that's completely normal.
Yes.
This is a physical thing.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you as a mom."
That's why it's so important to have those older women in our lives that can really speak life into us whenever we're in those positions. Yeah.
And if someone doesn't have that right now and they're watching Kristen, is a good thing to do to get a counselor so that you can...
Absolutely. I think, you know, a counselor is going to come from just a third objective point of view. You know, they're going to look at the whole situation and try to figure out, is there anything else going on that we need to be concerned about? Try to help normalize where they've been.
Yeah.
And maybe give some suggestions on how to cope with some of the things that they're dealing with. They might need some mindfulness techniques or some coping skills that would help address some of the things that they're experiencing.
Now, what does that mean, mindfulness technique? What does that mean?
It can mean a variety of things, but basically it's really slowing down your brain and centering yourself, kind of slowing down your breathing, paying attention to your breathing, paying attention to where you're holding tension in your body. You know, just really taking care of yourself. And that's something that honestly women don't do well, period.
Right.
But new moms are so busy trying to figure it all out and work so hard that that gets overlooked.
Well, and I think for new moms, and of course sometimes for new dads too, there's so much going on. So not only is there this new baby and the happiness there and the hormonal fluctuations, but you know, there are grandparents that want to come over and in-laws, and then maybe church family or friends who all want to hold baby and want to come over. How do we deal with those challenges?
Sure. And it's great and challenging at the same time. Yeah. I think anytime that a family can put together maybe a email or a letter or something to just state, you know, here's some boundaries for us, you know. We would love to have visitors on this day during these times. Or if you'd like to help out, you know, the laundry needs to be done, or maybe the house needs to be cleaned, or we'd love supper a couple times a week. You know, those are things that are just tangible ways for people to help out and be a part of it without intruding on someone.
Yeah, because I think that that's hard when people feel intruded upon. And I know, Chris, there are so many times I've said to people, so you know, what can I do to help?
Sure.
And they might be appreciative, perhaps they don't know what to say, but nothing gets said.
Sure.
So then I'm walking that fine line of, well, I mean, do I just try to figure it out and do it? Because then I think, well, that might be intrusive. They might not want me over there doing their laundry.
Yeah.
But if they had like a few okay things that it would be okay, I would be glad to do. So you're saying like if new parents could maybe get a plan together.
Absolutely. Putting a plan together is fantastic. And honestly, if the parents haven't done that or aren't able to do that, then maybe a grandparent can. You know, maybe someone outside of the immediate, my mom and dad could take that over and say, let's do a meal train for them, and you know, and who can do supper a couple nights a week for a little bit.
Yeah. Or laundry or
Absolutely.
any number of those things. And I think that's where you were saying like having people in our lives that are older than us or
Yes.
more seasoned that can maybe say to new mom and new dad, you know, this might come up when you bring the baby home from the hospital. You're going to love all these people to love your kid, but you know, it can be hard, and speak to this. Sometimes you walk in a room with your new baby and everybody wants to hold the baby, but you just got the baby to sleep, or you don't want baby to get all worked up. What do we do about that?
Yeah, it's okay to set boundaries. It really is. I think sometimes in our society we're a little confused about what's okay to do with boundaries. But boundaries are healthy, and it's all right to say, no, we just got to sleep, or you know, we can do this later, or something that would be better. I think too that just even normalizing, one of the things that can happen with new moms especially is when you walk in the room with that new baby, everybody wants to see the new baby, but mom sort of gets left out.
Exactly.
And that happens. And those feelings of struggling with that sometimes will take moms off guard, that they didn't expect to feel those feelings.
Well, because people, you know, I mean, of course I just love the baby, but sometimes people even say, oh, none of us want to see you, we just want to see the baby. We just want the baby. And most of the time I think new parents can laugh that off.
Sure.
But sometimes, man, like after a night of getting no sleep and like you've just really pushed all the limits to get the baby, the diaper bag and everything there, and somebody says it, you just think, well, it's hard.
It is hard, yeah. There again, we need those older women in our lives, to help normalize that.
Yeah, so we're like almost out of time, but what is one last thing that you could offer that could just help a new mom and a new dad?
Be partners. Yeah, just be partners, be willing to help each other out in any way. When the baby has a need, meet it, and allow other people in your life to help you out.
All about asking for it and being able to receive the help. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming back.
Absolutely, thank you.
It's good to have you. We want you to stay with us. When we come back on Bridges, you're going to meet a new family and how they are meeting the challenges of being new parents.
You can purchase a copy of today's show for $15. Call us at 615-754-0039 or send a check to the address on the screen. Please mention the program number on the screen.
For more information on a guest, visit our website, ctntv.org.
Join the Bridges community on Facebook. Visit Facebook and search for Bridges with Monica. We would love to connect with you.
If you're just joining us today on Bridges, Crystal and Stephen North are going to be my guests for this segment, and we've been following them as they were the couple, if you remember, that prayed for 14 years before finding out that they were pregnant. So today they're with us, and baby Journey is here too. Crystal, Stephen, Journey.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Journey, we are so happy to meet you. So Crystal, we're talking about like everything parenting today. So how is it with you and Stephen being new parents?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I say I wouldn't change it for anything. It's busy. It is busy, but, but I love it. I'm able to be a stay-at-home mom. I've been able to watch all her milestones, and it's changed me for the better. It truly has, and I love everything about it.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, me as well. I didn't think that being a parent would be this much fun and this much rewarding. Just something to, pour love into, and just seeing her always happy and bouncing around and playing with her toys. It's just like, I would love to stay home and, be able to do what Crystal does with you. It's awesome. I love it.
That is wonderful. How about the adjustments, Stephen? Like sleepless nights, those kinds of things? Yeah.
That was difficult. Like people would say, "Oh, you're not gonna get no sleep." I was like, "Yeah, we'll get some sleep." They were right. It was some times where I was just like, if I could just get like 50 seconds of sleep, it would be great. And it didn't happen. But now, I mean, she sleeps through the night.
That's wonderful.
But in the beginning, when she, first came home, she didn't sleep that good. But now she sleeps great, and it
That's
allows
wonderful.
us to sleep great too.
How about for you, Crystal?
As far as the adjustments go, I would say that probably the most difficult thing for me was finding a schedule, finding a balance. A balance in my life to get in my word, to clean. Sometimes the dishes have to wait, because she wants me to hold her or, spend time with her, and finding the balance to teach her, for her to learn, certain things. And that's the biggest thing for me. That was the biggest challenge through it all, is finding balance in my life now.
Yeah. Because really, when you have a baby, everything changes.
It does.
Yes, it
does. Most definitely. Especially, with being able to just get up and go. Me and Steven, for 14 years, we just got up and we went, and now it's like, okay, I gotta make a bottle. I gotta make sure she has enough formula. I gotta make sure she has a change of clothes, diapers, wipes. So it's very different, but like Steven said, it's also very, very rewarding.
That's wonderful. Stephen, what would you say, because you guys, as we shared over the course of the pregnancy, it was 14 years of praying before you got that positive, we're gonna have a baby result. So how has that been for you? Do you feel like it's happier now?
Oh yes, so much more happier. Cause just for me, I'm really, really big on family. So now I have my own family. Like before it was me and Crystal, and that was great. Because we had a lot of freedoms. Because we could come and go as we please and things like that. And we always had fun and we laughed all the time, and we just had a really, really great setup as far as our relationship. But then when Journey came into the picture, it was just like, the icing on the cake. It was just like, man, I never knew that that having a family would be this rewarding for me, because I think like as a husband, there's a part of you that, you're ready to care for your home and your wife, but there's also a part of you that is designed to care for your children and, raise them up. And I'm getting to do that, and it's awesome, because I'm just now getting started in it, and as a parent, I'm learning as well as she's learning.
Yeah. Crystal, when I think about 14 years of praying for a baby, that is a really long time. And of course, having a baby changes everything. How about for you and Stephen? Have you been able to still be able to cultivate your relationship as a couple?
It's been work.
Yeah.
It has been work. But we still, something that we were doing before Journey was we would have date nights. She said, uh-oh. We would have
pacifier on the floor.
That's a part of it. We would have date nights every Monday, or a date day every single Monday. And that is something we still are doing.
Good for you.
So, yeah. So we will have a date day, and she's included now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we go out.
Family day.
Yeah. Family date day. Yep. And so that's one thing that we do, and we make sure that we are praying together, that we're encouraging one another, so and that we're communicating. One thing is Journey was actually sick recently. She had her little temperature, and that's something that we had to communicate through. And so. It's been challenging at times, but the Lord is definitely growing us in it, and making sure that we're still putting each other first. So, yeah.
Yeah, because that part is important too.
It is.
And yet at the same time, as responsible parents, you have to tend to your baby. And when there's sickness and, the sleep schedule, chores, like you guys were saying, just even getting out of the house is a lot more work when you have a child. And it's rewarding, but there's still more to it. Stephen, what would you say to a couple that's watching and maybe they haven't been praying for 14 years, but they've been praying for a long time and it seems like they won't ever get pregnant? How would you encourage them?
I would tell them to hold on. I would tell them that there will be times where, it's difficult and you're challenged, but with you both, just hold on and encourage each other until you receive, because God is faithful.
Yeah, he is faithful. And if I can add on to that, Pastor Monica, another thing is listening to the voice of God. Because with our process, yes, it was a 14-year process, but there was also instructions that God had given me during that process, and I had to be obedient to those things that God had called me to do. There's a Godward side and a manward side to things. There's the practical things that we have to do at times.
Yes.
And God had called me to do some things concerning my body, concerning my health. And as soon as I got on board with that, with what God told me to do, then I could see it more clearly. And then I ended up getting pregnant because I was obedient to what God called me to do. So to open your ears and listen to the voice of God, to listen to what he's saying is very important.
And Crystal and Stephen, I think that's so important in anything that we're praying about. And it doesn't always mean that we're doing something wrong or that we're lacking something. That is certainly not the case. But just to have a listening ear to anything that the Lord might say to you about anything in your life.
Right.
Because he's always talking. And I think, sometimes when we want something so badly, whether that's a baby or to get married or a job or for finances to change, we stop listening to God.
You're absolutely
because we're
right.
so busy asking. And I get that. Like, I've been there and I understand that, but I think that's such good advice.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen, I remember you sharing that when you first found out that Crystal was pregnant, you would wake her up in the middle of the night and say, "Do you know that pretty soon there's going to be 3 of us?"
Yes.
Do you ever look back on that time and think about how you robbed your wife of sleep?
I do. I do look back on it, and she tells me all the time, like, hey, let me sleep. But I'm so excited.
Yes.
Even now, I'll tell her, I'll say, I'll just say, look at Journey. She was in your stomach.
Yeah.
We'll reflect on that, and then I'll rub her stomach, and I was like, and we have another one coming.
You have another one coming?
Yes, we have another one coming.
You have another, Crystal, you have another one coming?
We do have another one coming. We do.
Well, congratulations. So, Stephen, do you wake her up and say, now there are going to be 4 of us?
Yeah. I haven't entered into the 4 of us yet because Journey, she, as you can see, she's full of energy.
Yes, she is.
She's so, I haven't entered into how it would be, having 4, but I'm excited about the family aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous.
Are you nervous? Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I am a little bit nervous just because I'm like, I guess sometimes I feel like, because you think it took 14 years.
Yeah.
Journey's almost 9 months, and to think I'm pregnant already, I'm pregnant again, and I'm just like, Lord, are you sure I can handle this? Because there's so much adjustments that comes with one, and I'm so grateful and I'm so blessed. And whenever I reflect on it, I'm like, wow, Lord, you've doubled my portion. You've went from, me struggling for 14 years with infertility to now me being pregnant again. Yeah. And so yes, I get nervous, but I'm also very, very excited. And we're due July 28th. Yeah, we don't know what we're having yet, whether it's a boy or a girl, but either way, we're so excited.
Absolutely.
We're so excited.
And I appreciate you being so honest to say that you're nervous, because a lot of times we feel like as Christians we can't ever say that. Like that if we pray to have children or to get married or whatever, that it would be wrong to feel nervous. But I mean, who wouldn't feel nervous?
Yeah.
Even if you hadn't waited 14 years for this beautiful little one. Another baby, an additional responsibility for mom and for dad and for all of that. So you're excited and you're nervous and prayed for 14 years and to get one, and now number 2 is on the way.
It's so
fast.
exciting.
Yeah.
It's so exciting, and I'm just, I'm ready. I'm nervous, but I'm ready. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
How is mom life different for you than you imagined?
I'd say the biggest thing for me is how it's so different is it really has matured me. Just as a woman, as a person. I never thought that she would grow me up so much. She makes me she puts it in me to want to be better.
Yes.
You know, to do better, to live better, to live healthier, to be more on fire for God, because she sees me.
Yep.
She sees my actions, you know, and I want to be a good example for her.
Yeah.
So I say the biggest thing that is I didn't know it would change me so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Because it does. How about for you, Stephen?
Yeah, it definitely it grows you, and it'll make you think like, okay, I was gonna go do this, but I can't go do that, you know, because I got to make sure that Journey's taken care of, you know, because it's, like I said, you know, we used to be able to just go as we please, you know, like, oh, well, can't go do that just yet. Got to wait till, you know, maybe this day or that day, and
Right.
to where it fits in the schedule. But it just makes me also more passionate about being in order, and also just more adamant about accomplishing my goals, because I know she's watching.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to be able to, you know, teach that to her as well. You know, when you set things in place, you know, you need to make sure that you fulfill those things that you put in place.
Absolutely. So what I hear is a lot of joy,
Oh, yes.
a lot of
Yes.
changes.
Yes.
And so, Crystal, have you thought about it's going to be 4 of you pretty soon?
Oh goodness, yes, I've thought about it, and I'm overjoyed. I'm so excited, and I'm excited to see what God's going to do in and through not only Journey, but this second one.
Yeah, and you'll
so.
have to come back with baby number 2.
Oh,
we'll have
yes.
to keep you guys updated about all of this.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank all 3 of you, not just the 2 of you,
Yes.
all 3 of you for coming out and for
Yeah.
sharing this story
Thank you
with
for
us.
having us. Thank you.
It's been good to have you. We're so glad that you could join us today. We're so happy for Crystal, Stephen, Journey, and the new baby on the way. We've got to go, but we say goodbye and God bless you.
When I truly turned my heart to the Lord, He took every sin I ever did away from me.
God really is your other half. God, He's the only person who can really, you know, fill those holes and cracks in your heart that you're so wanting someone to fill.
It's no good to have a big dream if you're not putting yourself in motion to go after that.
Prayer changes things. If you need prayer, write to the address on the screen. Call 615-754-0039 or email prayer@ctntv.org.
Don't give in. God's word says you're an overcomer. It takes training. It takes discipline. And so when you're fighting that good fight of the faith, you take your story, whatever it is, and you saturate it in faith, and you fight for it.
Visit monicaschmelter.com to schedule Monica to speak at your next event.
Log on to www.ctntv.org, where you can make a prayer request, view our program guide, see who's on Bridges, or even watch one of Monica's latest teachings. Log on to www.ctntv.org.